Estate sales are the ultimate wild card in the shopping world. You never know what kinds of treasures you might come across in a chest that's been sitting in someone's attic for a decade. A long-forgotten box labeled junk might just contain the perfect decoration for your living room. Shannon Downey, an avid crafter in Chicago, struck gold one day at an estate sale near her home, though what she came across didn't look like much to the untrained eye. The ornate stitch held a value only she could see, and an unlikely project she hoped would skyrocket the blanket's worth and bring her community together. Shannon Downey, 41, is a cross-stitcher with a unique perspective. She takes a craft that is typically thought of as being for old ladies and has turned it into a fresh, fierce business that has earned her a huge following on Instagram. She likes to frequent garage sales, estate sales, and flea markets in search of unfinished projects so she could complete them herself. Cross-stitching often can take months or years, so she feels compelled to complete unfinished works. She knew that, with estate sales, often the reason the work remains unfinished is because the person who started it passed away before they could complete it. This tragic incompleteness drew Shannon in. Downey sees a noble purpose in finishing projects of the departed. There's no way that soul is resting with an unfinished project left behind, she said. That's what put her at a particular sale in 2019. Recently, Downey was at an estate sale in Chicago near her home when she came across something major, a massive plastic bin overflowing with unfinished embroidery. When she opened it up and looked inside, she fell to the ground, almost in tears. Inside was a quilt consisting of a map of the United States, with a panel for all 50 states and their state flower. There was a clear vision lined out. The owner of the estate must have been very organized, but she had only just begun the project. After buying the unfinished project, Downey did a little bit of research on the owner of the estate. Everything belonged to a 99-year-old woman named Rita Smith, who had recently passed away. Smith was an avid quilter, and Downey was touched. Once Downey learned about the late Miss Smith, and once she found out her age and how much of an avid crafter she was committed to finishing the massive quilt. However, she couldn't do it all on her own. So she used her platform on Instagram to reach out to her followers. She made a post asking for help. "You know my love of estate sales and the fact that I cannot handle stumbling across unfinished projects. I buy them and I finish them as a tribute." She needed volunteers to help and said, "I cannot possibly stitch all of this myself with all of the rest of the stuff I'm working on, but I'm wondering if we can crowd finish this project for Rita." To her surprise, her call for help was met with resounding support. Women from across the country volunteered to help, over 1,000 responses in total. Everyone was fascinated with Smith's story, who she was, and what kind of work she did. They even found her high school yearbook photo. Downey created a spreadsheet and assigned each volunteer a state based off of Smith's patterns and sent them off through the mail across the country. She continued to make posts about the project under the hashtag Rita's Quilt, and it quickly went viral. With the work underway, the volunteers kept Rita Smith in the forefront of the project. Whenever there was a question about the quilt, they deferred to what Smith would have done. "This is her art, and we're just the hands," Downey said. Once she had received all of the finished state panels, Downey wanted to do something special to finish the quilt. She didn't just want to finish it and have that be the end, so she decided to honor Rita Smith's work in a truly unique but fitting way. She decided to hold an old-fashioned quilting bee, bringing together everyone who worked on the quilt in one place to finish the project. Women from across the country gathered at a Chicago area crafting store and workshop to put the pieces together. Assembling all 50 state pieces to the larger quilt, the women came together for the first time, chatting, laughing, and discussing their crafting projects. It was as if Rita Smith had created a new appreciation for this long-forgotten skill, which Downey says is greatly undervalued in the modern era. When the group finally finished, Downey gathered them together. "Rita is resting in Craft's peace because this is going to be done, and it's going to be done in a really epic way. It's wildly honorable and worth there being artifact and story and memory around. So yay, Rita!" Downey said the work is a piece of art and should be made public. "I want it to be somewhere it will be appreciated and a testament to what Rita created," she said. After finally being completed, it was permanently displayed at the National Quilting Museum in Paducah, Kentucky. Shannon Downey wants to keep the quilt alive through her future work and the blending of traditional and modern. In the meantime, she keeps doing her thing, always looking for uncompleted projects to tackle. Her thoughts on the story are summed up in her work quite well. She hopes that when she dies, her unfinished work will be carried out by other cross-stitchers and crafters in the community. She knows, after all, that we learn so much about people only after they pass.